because that's something that's actually worth monitoring. All right. The finals are set.
Mm-hmm.
Thunder Pacers. Thunder massive favorites. Let's start with, I want to make sure we're on the same page. I think they are. I adore this for the small markets.
Mm-hmm.
Are you on the same?
Yeah, I'm actually, I don't know why I think less of the small market angle in this than I do of the non-champions. No titles for the Pacers, none for the Thunder.
Right.
Didn't Thunder win in the 70s?
I think that's dumb too. Like, this is the Thunder's first championship. Right. I also don't like I said, I don't like that we use the Royals championship. I get it. Yeah. I get it. I understand it. I just personally don't like it. It's like, come on, man. That's not here. But whatever. Anyway.
You can't talk about the Kings 100-year franchise.
You're right. And I love talking about that. The Kings are the oldest franchise in the NBA. I love talking about that. Is it hypocritical? Yes. Do I care? No. But yeah, I mean,
we've had 40 years here with no titles. I don't know how many years they've been in. It's like 16, 17, 15, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, Durant's second year.
Yeah.
Westbrook's first, whatever that is.
And I was wondering this last week, Jason. And again, I need to see if Softy from KJR is available up in Seattle, Dave Mahler. I wonder how Seattle is. My guess is indifference and we're not watching, but like, is there any emotion attached to this for them, or has it been long enough where they're like, yeah, we just don't care. We don't watch the NBA. We don't care. Thunder could win it. Pacers could win it. We don't care. I imagine they're rooting for the Pacers.
I gotta believe there's probably some that stayed with them. Some, it might be a very small percentage.
Yeah.
Some that absolutely hate Clay Bennett and that organization. Some that are done with basketball. Can't wait for their team to come in if they're getting one here. It seems like they will. Yeah, I mean, I guess, do we have a little bit of a parallel here? I mean, I see people, Whitey's song about Haliburton. A lot of people are just immediately jump to, if we still had Haliburton, this is where the Kings would be, which I couldn't disagree with more.
Okay. Forgive me, but when we're separated for a week, there's some things where I'm like, okay, we did or we did. We went into detail. We talked quite a bit, shockingly, about Tyrese Haliburton last week. And my conclusion, and I have a feeling you and I are very much on the same page. Like, did the Kings win the trade? No. Asterisk. And the asterisk is no, but also, had the Kings done every move the Pacers have done, the exact move the Pacers have done since that trade, and the Pacers had done every move the Kings had or hadn't done since, I don't know that the Kings would be in the finals because the Western Conference is more difficult, but I'm pretty sure the Kings would be better than the Pacers, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. If the Kings had acquired Pascal Siakam, if the Kings had drafted who they drafted and done the things and made the moves that the Pacers have made, and also Tyrese Haliburton was out there in Indiana playing with Miles Turner and a couple guys, I think we're having I don't think the Kings would be as successful as the Pacers are right now, but I think they would be more successful than the Pacers in that situation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I just think it's not the same comparison. I think Haliburton would be a great player here.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think we could all agree on that.
Yes.
I just don't think they would be in the Western Conference Finals. I don't think they would be that much farther along, if at all. I don't know. It all, you have to see it in real time, but when he's a member of the Pacers, it started slowly. They didn't make the playoffs the first year. Then every other move after that has been a good move, and he's been a big part of it. Mm-hmm. But I guess I understand why Kings fans are frustrated. I just don't put that together anymore as like what could have been here. I mean, I would be just Haliburton as the player.
Yeah.
I don't put it as the Kings would be in the Pacers position.
I hear you.
I don't like that they don't have Haliburton and Fox now. Right. I hate that part of it. But, I mean, the common theme is, in one sense, that, the Pacers had Sabonis, the Thunder had Sabonis.
Yes.
The Pacers had Paul George, the Thunder had Paul George. Those two players helped both those organizations get better.
They did.
And that's kind of a weird thing.
But here's the thing. Sabonis has helped the Kings get better.
Absolutely.
Regardless of how you want to look at the past, and I'm not standing in front of the Kings, but regardless of how you want to look at the past 3.5 years, The Kings are better now than before they traded Sabonis.
Yeah,
or for Sabonis.
And the narratives on a couple of these things that are related to each team here, as far as Kings and Pacers, let's say, there's a narrative that Sabonis and Turner didn't work. That's out there.
Right.
I would debate that, but that's okay.
Sure.
But I would say most people would say Sabonis is the better player than Turner.
Yes.
The narrative is Fox and Haliburton didn't work. I think that's worth debating. And the debate on who's better, that's fine too. Haliburton or Fox.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is now Turner with Siakam and Nembhard,
right,
and Nesmith,
yes,
and McConnell,
yes,
and Haliburton. I mean, it's like,
yes,
that looks pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fit. Like OKC, like we've done before. OKC's pieces. Oh, everybody would take SGA. A lot of people would take Chet. A lot of people would take Jalen. But then you kind of go, like it's fine.
Yeah.
But all together, it's beautiful.
And that's a theme that we've been talking about for months now. The Kings have talented players. Levine's very, very talented.
Absolutely.
Sabonis very, very
Absolutely.
talented. Although very talented. They fit like ice cream and A1 sauce.
Well, and that's why I would say like the fix, I won't say is easy by any means if you're the Kings and Scott Perry in the front office.
Yes.
But I don't think they're absent of assets. I just don't know how they turn what they have into something that's the better fit or the better team.
You're talking about this iteration right now?
Yeah. So like the Levine part. Levine is good.
Yes.
He's good.
No doubt.
I don't know how many people want Levine.
Very few.
Yeah. Sabonis is really good.
Yes.
I bet people want him, but is that the right move to make for what you would get back versus what he is to you? You know,
yes.
DeRozan just down the line.
That's
and
right.
like the probably the stuff that people would really want based on contracts, like, I want to get my hands on Keon Ellis. I bet you do.
I'll bet you do.
But I wouldn't want to trade him. Not that he's not tradable.
That's right.
But you found him.
Yeah.
He's on your relatively inexpensive dime.
Yes.
That's a win.
Yes.
So,
and that's a decision they have to make, by the way, to extend Keon Ellis this summer or stay on the nice young deal, but risk losing him as an unrestricted next year.
Yeah. So all these teams that like when we did postmortems, like, oh, the Knicks, they're stacked. They need to work on the edges.
Yes.
Like they would love someone like that. Cause like, hey, he'll help make the team better and he's cheap.
That's right.
Cheaper. Or every team, Minnesota, any team you want, like we need someone like that. Yeah, you do. But the Kings have them. And I don't think, anyway.
Well, no. And that's been the theme to what I've been saying for the last week while you were gone is that did the Kings win the Haliburton Sabonis trade? That is, again, I'll go back. I'll just use my myself and give you a silly example because I always use my wife. If I got a divorce tomorrow, set the screen. Was my marriage a failure? I have one kid going to a great school. The other one's coming. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah.
If I got divorced tomorrow, my marriage by definition has failed, but I would never say the marriage was a failure and I could, do 30 reasons, but I would never trade these 18 years, July, for my children and what they've done.
Exactly.
It's a goofy analogy, but it's me. Who won the trade is a surface question that lacks context. You have to look at all those months and years that we had Monty on the show. That I remember that one time specifically. It was like, dude, you're not doing anything. Like, what are you doing? When we had Monty on at camp this last year, who's playing the four? McDaniels isn't. What are you doing? What is going on?
Yeah.
These were warning signs that we, not just us, we're trying to, pat the back here. A lot of people had these questions. The Pacers got Haliburton, fair play to them, but then they went, as we just listed out. By the way, who doesn't get enough credit? The Thunder. Here's why. You have to be willing to take chances, and sometimes you have to be willing to do the hard things. I have every belief in the world that when it's all said and done, maybe I'm wrong, but I'll bet you Sam Presti feels the same way I do. I think Josh Giddey's going to have a better career than Alex Caruso. I think Alex Caruso is a fantastic player.
Right.
I think Josh Giddey.
That's what they needed.
Josh Giddey's 21 years old.
Right.
And look at his numbers. Dude's a stud. He's only starting to get good. I think the Bulls got the better end of that deal head to head. I think Josh Giddey's a better player long term. Alex Caruso is better for the Thunder.
Yeah.
They're not, I don't think they're in the finals, without Alex Caruso. I think he's the difference.
And I think when we do the definition of win the trade, we go head to head.
That's
you
right.
Go player for player. So
Can't
if you're doing
it.
Caruso versus Giddey, you're right. Giddey might end up being a multi-time All-Star. I don't think Caruso ever will be. Doesn't mean he isn't important to this team.
That's right.
And it's also you can kind of check in on the trade multiple times, because if you're doing it player for player, I think almost every year when they're preseason ranked the top 100, I think the last couple Haliburton's maybe been 2 spots ahead of Sabonis.
Sure, yeah.
So I mean they're both top 25 players. But this year we all thought Sabonis should have been an All-Star. He wasn't. Why? Partly because they didn't win enough games. Part of that's on Sabonis, but if they had 5 more wins and he's an All-Star, then it's
that's right.
Well, Haliburton won more games, partly because of Haliburton, but
right.
also his roster. And I would say after the first year when the Kings were in the playoffs and the Pacers weren't, people said the Kings won the trade.
Yeah.
Now you go another year. Now no one would say the Kings won because the Haliburton's here. They're in the finals.
It's the context of the moves.
You need the whole thing.
916-339-1140 is our text line. From the 916, I'll read a couple here. From the 916, Dort, Caruso, Hartenstein. Defense. Kings don't get defensive players. They keep chasing the sexy names. I couldn't agree with that text more. That's something we have screamed from the top of our lungs. Also from the 916. Kings did not win the trade. Stop adding all this junk to the narrative. They thought they won it just like the Clippers thought they won it. See, that's where, and I'm not picking on this person, you got to listen harder. That's not what we're saying. You have to, this is not binary. You have to pick up the nuance in the conversation. Head to head, we could have an argument. But the Pacers surrounded Haliburton and took the chances to get them there. We're giving the organization credit, and I think the 2 organizations deserve more credit and blame than Haliburton and Sabonis themselves. And I don't like it. And we talked about this last week, Jason. What I don't like is I'm starting to see more and more that are trashing Sabonis. That's not the route to go. This isn't his fault.
Right. And this isn't what happened. It's a half a season. But let's just pretend for argument that Zach LaVine coming over was the equivalent to Siakam for the Pacers.
Sure.
So when they got LaVine, the Kings just took off and won a bunch of, it was that was the guy. Wow, we didn't think it, but that was the guy.
Yeah.
The Kings finished 4th and lost in the second round. Was Sabonis any better?
No. He just was Sabonis-y.
Right.
Now there's, we can talk about his playoff performance and lack thereof. I mean, that's complicated.
Sure.
But
But if we do that, there was one of the, Haliburton had just an awful game in one of the series. I mean, but he was great too.
Yes.
We don't need to get into the minutia of it all. Sabonis is a really good player.
That is correct.
Haliburton's a really good player.
That is correct.
Haliburton's on more of the stage. He's been great. He's been coming through, and he's in the finals, and he may win a championship.
That's right. He's 4 wins away from a title. And I think there's some people that will listen and say, God, you guys this is beating a dead horse. Now the horse is still, this is still happening, number one. But I think it's such an involved and layered and nuanced conversation. And for me, I won't speak for you. For me, I think it is incredibly important for us as fans to understand this is a failure of organization, just like it is a triumph of organization. Look at the Pacers, their stability with their coach, their stability with their general manager, the stability in ownership, the taking the chance and adding players, worrying about fit, whereas you have the Kings. Keep saying it time and time again, until there is a massive philosophical change in how the basketball operations of this organization are run from the top. Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
You are not a good team, and you had an opportunity to draft Luka Doncic,
right?
And you drafted for fit. Oklahoma City didn't do that. That's how they ended up with Josh Giddey. And they waited. They found the right spot, and they got the piece they need. They gathered assets.
Yep.
You had an opportunity to, while the Knicks were giving up 5 unprotected firsts for Mikal Bridges, while the Pacers were giving up Bruce Brown and 2 firsts for Pascal Siakam, while the Thunder were giving up Alex Caruso Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso. you were drafting pretty players.
Mhm.
Oh, I like Zach LaVine. He makes the baskets. And let's add DeMar DeRozan. He's good, I guess. And he had that song that he's in the song. And you're doing all this stuff for the wrong reasons. Right. And you're gathering this grab bag of players that are individually all very good or mostly very good, but there's not a fit. And until you stop chasing the pretty players, it will never change.
And it's hard for probably the organization, but more specifically the fans, these last two finals in particular, because Luka was in there last year. Now he didn't win, but he was there. Yes. And he was that close to winning, knowing a guy you could have drafted.
Yes.
And then this year, a guy you did draft.
Yes.
And had. Now you got Sabonis for him, but he's in the finals and could win the title.
That's
this year.
Exactly right.
So this is 2 years in a row that's kind of been a kick to the groin.
And not even the worst case scenario. That's the thing. We're not even there, because you're going to tell me that it's not even worth talking about the idea that I think next year would be too early, but sometime in the next 3 to 4 years, what Kings fans, unfortunately, and what's going to be, you think this Haliburton talk is toxic? Wait till De'Aaron Fox is putting up 30, 40 points a game with the Spurs next year. Wait till he's healthy. And if you think De'Aaron Fox is just going to disappear, if you forget the De'Aaron Fox that was best when he was pissed, you think he's not pissed right now?
Yeah.
You think he's not listening and hearing and reading all his own press? Nobody wants to hear this. Nobody wants to hear it. But watch this conversation on June 2nd, 2025. Come back here next season if you've got a healthy Fox, Victor Wembanyama, Stephon Castle, Giannis, whatever that ends up being. It's going to make that Haliburton conversation look like a kiss from your nana.
Yeah, but that's also the same conversation, because it's like people thought Fox couldn't win a title here, and they might have been right. I mean, he hadn't.
He thought that he could not win a title
So
here.
if he went somewhere else, it isn't because he wasn't good here.
Right.
And the Kings blew it. Well, maybe they did because they didn't surround him with the right players.
Right.
It's because he went somewhere else, still very good, but was surrounded by the right players.
He went to an organization that was not going to make the playoffs, from a team that win-loss wise is better, because he wanted a stable organization to play with and thought this was not this is all, again, lessons to be learned.
Yeah.
Why we got here, why we're here, why we're doomed to repeat it if it doesn't stop from the top down. We'll take a break. When we return, we got a postmortem on the New York Knicks. And